Hello. In this presentation, we will be discussing fair process. Fair process is an essential element in creating trust and collaboration in communities. Today, we'll explore how fair process can transform the way we make decisions and interact as a community for fostering an environment where everyone is heard and valued. Fair process is a decision making approach rooted in respect and dignity and integrity, accountability, empathy, courage, and inclusivity. And through fair process, communities can build cooperation, belonging, resilience, connection, empowered members, respect, and trust. Fair process involves three key principles: engagement, explanation or education, and expectation clarity. These principles guide decision making to ensure that everyone involved is respected and informed regardless of the outcome. Think about how these principles could apply to your community's unique dynamics. So, engagement means actively involving individuals in decisions that affect them. Explanation means clearly communicating the rationale behind decisions once they're made. And also clearly communicating how those decisions were made. Expectation clarity means outlining any kind of new rules, any new standards, any expectations made on anybody, and any consequences with transparency. Restorative practices and fair process share a commitment to inclusivity and collaboration. By using tools like restorative circles, we create spaces where all voices can be heard and connections can be strengthened. For example, listening circles can help address tensions while promoting understanding and accountability around a decision. So, how to create fair process? First, start by engaging the stakeholders and inviting their input. Then explain decisions with transparency. Again, explaining how the decisions are going to be made. And then once they are made, explaining why they were made that way. And again, how that decision was made. And also addressing different perspectives. Finally, set clear expectations to align everyone's understanding. In communities, this could mean ensuring an open dialogue during meetings and providing clear communication about the outcomes. Circles are an example of a restorative process that is a powerful way to promote fair process. Different types of circles, such as listening circles, fishbowl circles, sharing and brainstorming circles, encourage engagement and shared responsibility. When fair process is absent, communities will often experience distrust, resistance, and communication breakdowns. These challenges reduce morale and collaboration. Imagine how a lack of engagement in leadership decisions might cause exclusion or resentment in the membership, or even within leadership. Addressing these gaps starts with implementing fair process principles. When fair process is practiced, communities thrive. Increased trust and cooperation lead to better problem solving and empowered members who feel valued. Transparent and inclusive decisions foster stronger commitment and collective action, enabling communities to overcome challenges together. There are many applications for fair processes in spiritual communities. I put together a list of some ideas that I came up with, such as shaping values and practices with inclusivity, strengthening communication between leadership and the community members, or between leadership and between leadership and and smaller chapters. By embedding fair process, we can build trust and unity and alignment with the shared purpose. Here are some practical questions to guide your implementation of fair process. What is the decision to be made? Who will be impacted by this decision? How will I engage the people who are impacted by this decision? Because remember, you want to engage with anyone who's going to be impacted by the decision. After engagement, who will I include when making the final decision? How will I explain the decision? And part of this is acknowledging when making the decision and explaining why it was made the way it was and how it was made, acknowledging the concerns that may have come up in that engagement portion that still may be concerns, because sometimes decisions need to get made and not every need and every concern is going to be addressed with that decision. So it also means acknowledging those needs that aren't being met with the decision and allowing for discussion about how to care for those needs. Okay, and then back to questions to ask. What's the most important information to be communicated? What are the new rules or guidelines or expectations? And in order to meet that expectation clarity, how will I communicate what happens next? And who needs to receive those communications, which would be anybody who's affected by the decision. Fair process should be used anytime a decision affects anyone other than or in addition to yourself. Remember the hypothesis of restorative practices, which reminds us that human beings are happier, more cooperative and productive, and more likely to make positive changes in their behavior when those in positions of authority do things with them rather than to them or for them. Fair process ensures that decisions are done with those affected by giving them a chance to be heard, an understanding of what's happening, and clarity about what will be expected of them and what they can expect from others. Fair process is not equivalent to consensus or democracy. Fair process is engaging all affected parties in the decision-making process, listening to their needs and considering them, validating their needs even if the final decision doesn't meet them all, explaining why the decision was made, and acknowledging the costs it may have on some and addressing how those costs will be mitigated. By hearing, addressing, and validating the needs, fair process helps those affected understand, accept, and even embrace decisions despite their needs, perhaps not, or their desires, not all being met. I love this quote from one of my teachers, Mickey Cashton. She's a nonviolent communication teacher. When we trust that our needs matter, so that means that we have that trust inside ourselves and others are validating and acknowledging our needs. When we trust that our needs matter, we are much more flexible about how they're going to be met. We're even more flexible about whether they will be met at all. And this is something that has really been shown with research around fair process. I invite you to read the article that I will share with you, Harvard Business Review, about fair process. And what the research shows is that when people are engaged in the decision-making process, as we're outlining here, they are much more likely to go along with the decisions and to cooperate with the decisions, even if they don't like the decisions, even if the decisions haven't met all of their needs or all of their desires. Fair process is more than a method, it's a mindset that allows for growth and connection in communities. By integrating restorative practices like fair process, your community can heal and grow and thrive together. So thank you for your commitment to fostering trust and unity, and let's continue on this journey together. I've got some questions here if you want to pause the video and just do some journaling to consider how fair process could make a difference in your community and how you could help bring it about. So the concepts that we've discussed are supported by research and resources as noted. Please reach out with your questions or if you would like more resources. Thank you for joining me today and for your commitment to building a restorative community. Together, I'm really hoping that we can foster connection, understanding, and healing in our world.